There are other ways of exploring data, and we're going to look at them, and we'll go to describe. So here you have a few options for your categorical variables or binary variables. It makes sense to use one-way frequencies and table analysis, which is a two-way table or a cross-tab, and also you can use a histogram for the regular data that you have. So we'll start with one-way frequencies, and let's see what kind of categorical variables we have. It's season, it's year, month, holiday, weekday, working day, the weather situation as well, and also I think that's it actually. So let's just drag them to under the analysis variable section, and we'll also go to the statistics. Here you have a choice. You can ask for frequencies and percentages, and also cumulative frequencies or cumulative percentages, or just frequencies and cumulative frequencies, or just frequencies and percentages, or frequencies only. So we'll just keep it at default. Then you can also ask for plots. Let's say we want some vertical plots to see our data plotted, to visualize it. Results. If you want to get your data saved in a separate data set, you can click here and it will create a separate data file for you, or data set. The titles, if you click here on, if you uncheck this one, this square, you will choose, now you can write actually your own information. So one-way frequencies, categorical variables, for example. And the properties, again, you can do the same, right? So you can ask SAS to output the data in different formats. We are not gonna do it now, but you can do it. And let's click on run. So you see it gives us the information about the season, frequencies, percentages, and cumulative frequencies. So the first month is 181, 2 months in a row will make for 365, and so on. Oh, this is the season, I'm sorry. So that gives you the information about different frequencies. We have already explored that, so we're not going to stop here. Now we're going to come back, and let's come back to describe, and now let's do cross-tabs. So when you do cross-tabs, you can study whether there are associations between various variables, and that's what we're going to do. So we're going to study, like, you know, I have this assumption that a month and a season, where do we have our season? Oh, season here. Yeah, so the month and the season are related. So let's see if I'm right or if I'm wrong. It can be important for the regression analysis. You know, when you include the variables, you really want to make sure that you do not have any multicollinearity issues. So that's why it makes sense to include the season and the month right now to check if there are any associations. And if there are, then you will just exclude one of the variables, and you will only include one of them into your model. So to do the cross-tab, you have to drag the variable anywhere into the table. The first one you will drag will end up being a column variable, and the second one will be a row variable. Right now it doesn't matter whichever one we have, because we don't know which one influences which one, right? So let's go to the cell statistics. That gives you a lot of options what you would like to be included into your cells, right? Like percentages, column percentages, row percentages, and so on. But we are very interested in associations, so we'll go for chi-square tests. And you can also ask for exact p-values, but for us, for me, for example, it doesn't matter as long as it's lower than 0.05. And that's pretty much it. The results, you can ask SAS to save it in a separate data set, but we're not going to ask for that. Titles, we can ask, for example, table analysis, and we can say season versus month. And again, in the properties, you can ask SAS to output the data differently, but for me it's okay, so I'm not gonna do it. Run. So as you can see, it gives us the table. You know, let's say the season, the first month, we have 62 month here for 2 years, right? And so on. Oh, sorry, 62 days. That's what I meant, data points. Then the second one in the first season, 57 data points, and so on and so forth. And you will see that also, like, let's say the 4th month, which is April, right, is not in the first season. So let's go here, statistics for a table for season. So chi-square, the probability is very low, right? The p-value is 0.0001, which means that there is an association between these two variables, and it makes sense when you run a regression analysis just to include one. So let's rename the table analysis here, and let's write season versus month. And now let's modify task. And when you modify task, you actually have this luxury to do it. You do not have to start the procedure from scratch, which is nice. So that's what we are doing now. So we're going to drag the variables from there to the left first, and now we're going to see if a weekday and a working day are related. So again, we have to go to tables and just drag them, the variables, to the table. All the rest has to stay the same except for the title. We'll say weekday versus working day. And let's run. When you run it, if you want not to overwrite the information, you have to say no. As you can see, it creates a separate output, and let's call it right away weekday versus working day. And again, we can see that the p-value is very low, so that means again that only one of the variables has to be included into the model. And you can see, for example, so if the weekday is Sunday, we have 0 working days, but we have 105 in 2 years, 105 weekends, and so on. So that's how you will analyze this table. So that's about the frequency analysis, right? Now if we come back to the data, we can also do histograms. We'll go to describe and we'll choose distribution analysis. So histograms work for your numerical data or continuous data, which is not weather situation, but temperature, humidity, wind speed, casual, registered, and the count, right? We'll just place them here. If you go to the summary, you can ask for the normal, for the normality distribution, right? If you go to normal, you can also ask for the line. Let's say we can ask our line to be dark blue, and yeah, you can also ask it to be applied only to some variables, but if we keep it at default, the line will be applied to every variable. So we're not going to check other ways, other distributions. Let's go to the appearance. We will ask for the histogram, and the background will set to white because the gray one is really not attractive. Let's put it this way. This is a very cool feature in the plots. If you click on the inset, you can actually ask us to include an inset to your histogram. So you have to click here, include inset, and it will give you a lot of different stats that you can include onto your histogram, so that you do not just visualize the data, but also you have some quick stats. Sample mean. After that you can include also, let's say, standard deviation, and skewness can be important. And let's say we'll go also for the median. You can also choose the location of your inset. It can be northwest, like here. It can also be, let's say, east, if you want it to be here, and so on. We'll keep it in the northwest for now. And tables, again, you can ask it like for different tables, like let's say moments, for example. And titles, Again, let's change. Actually, it's okay. It looks fine to me because it has too many variables, so we'll have to be very general in this case. And properties, again, you can choose the output, the way of output, but it doesn't matter right now, so let's run. So that gives you some statistics, right? The moments, the number of observations, the mean, the standard deviation, the skewness, and so on. You can check out all these stats, and that's your histogram, plus the inset that you asked us to include, which gives you the mean, the standard deviation, the skewness, and the median. You see the skewness is at a pretty low level, so we will consider it normal, that distribution. This is the distribution of the temperature over here. Then you can do the same for the humidity, right? So you can see the skewness, again, is not like at a high level, so it's okay. It's not highly skewed. This is the wind speed. The skewness is a little bit higher, but it's still less than 1. Here, though, the skewness is higher than 1, so we will transform this variable for sure. That one was the casual variable. And what do we have next? Yeah, next we have registered. We can also check the skewness here. It's pretty low, so it's okay. And the last one. So this is the total count. The skewness is low, so we're not going to bother, and we're not going to transform this variable. So that's pretty much it as for the data exploration.